The first rule of revenge: make sure you don't get burned. I learned that the hard way. It all started on a rainy Tuesday night when I found my mom crying at our kitchen table again. Not the pretty, delicate crying you see in movies, this was the ugly kind. Smudged mascara, shaking hands clutching a tissue, staring at her wedding photo with Drayton. "I gave that man 15 years, she whispered, her voice breaking. 15 years, and he left me for a woman half his age. That's when I decided to play his game. And win. 2 weeks later, I accidentally bumped into Drayton at Lux, the fancy coffee shop near his office. He didn't recognize me at first, which was perfect. The last time he saw me, I was a braces-wearing high schooler. Now? I looked nothing like the awkward girl he remembered. "Excuse me, I think you dropped this," I said, handing him a pen that wasn't his. When he looked up, I saw the exact moment recognition hit. His eyes widened. "Zoe? Odette's daughter." "It's Zara now," I lied smoothly. "Wow, small world." We started with coffee. Then lunch. Then dinner at that Italian place he used to take my mom. Every meeting was carefully planned, the clothes I wore, the things I said, even how I laughed at his jokes. "You're so different from your mother," he remarked during our third date. I smiled over my wine glass. "People keep telling me that." The plan was simple. 1. Make him like me. 2. Make him fall for me. 3. Break his heart like he broke Mom's. But somewhere between the boat rides on the lake and the lazy Sunday brunches, things got complicated. Like when he surprised me with tickets to see my favorite band. Or when he actually remembered my coffee order. Small things that started chipping away at my anger. Then came the night everything changed. We were at his apartment when his phone buzzed. I caught a glimpse of the screen, a name I recognized. His business partner, Mark. The message read, "She still doesn't know about the account in Caymans?" Drayton quickly flipped the phone face down, but it was too late. I'd seen enough. I was still processing what I'd read when my phone vibrated. A message from Mom. "We need to talk. It's about Drayton. And the money." My blood ran cold. That's when I heard Drayton coming down the hall, humming that stupid song he always sang. The same one he'd sung to my mom when they were happy. "Zara," he called. "You okay in there?" I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, the girl staring back at me suddenly looking like a stranger. I splashed cold water on my face, watching droplets slide down my reflection. The girl staring back at me didn't look like a vengeful daughter anymore. She looked scared. "Just a minute." My voice came out unnaturally high. I typed back to Mom, "What money?" Her response came instantly, "The $2 million he hid from me." From us. I emerged from the bathroom to find Drayton pouring more wine. The casual way he moved, shirt sleeves rolled up, humming that stupid Sinatra song, made my stomach twist. "Everything all right?" He handed me a glass. "Perfect." I forced a smile, clutching my phone like a grenade. "Just work stuff." His eyes lingered on me a second too long before he changed the subject. "I was thinking." My phone buzzed again. "Mom, he set up offshore accounts while we were married. I just found the paperwork." Drayton frowned. "You're popular tonight." Group chat, I lied automatically. Girls trip planning. I waited until Drayton fell asleep, passed out really, after 3 glasses of scotch, before slipping out of bed. His home office was locked. I stared at the sleek keypad, heart hammering. 4 digits. Mom's birthday? No. Their anniversary? The lock stayed red. Then I tried what I should have guessed first, the date Drayton finalized the divorce. The light turned green. The file cabinet drawer slid open with a whisper. Inside, neatly labeled folders, tax returns, property deeds, Cayman holdings. My hands trembled as I pulled out the last one. Spread before me were statements from First Caribbean International Bank. Monthly deposits. A balance that made my breath catch. $2.3 million. And the account opening date? 3 weeks before Mom filed for divorce. I barely made it to the balcony before dialing. Mom answered on the first ring. "Zara? Thank God. Did you?" "He stole from you," I whispered, the night air biting my skin. "All those years complaining about tight budgets, about your extravagant spending." "He was hiding millions," Mom finished, her voice hollow. Then quieter, "You're at his place right now, aren't you?" The realization hit like ice water. She knew. About everything. "Mom, I can explain." "Don't." A sharp inhale. "Just, get out of there. Now." A floorboard creaked behind me. I turned to find Drayton silhouetted in the doorway, his face unreadable in the moonlight. Who are you talking to, Zara? The phone slipped from my fingers. For a long moment, we just stared at each other, the man who broke my mother, and the daughter stupid enough to think she could break him back. Then his eyes dropped to the bank statements in my hand. Something in his expression shifted. Not anger. Not even surprise. Just resignation. You weren't supposed to find those, he said quietly. I expected yelling. Denials. Maybe even threats. I didn't expect Drayton to sink onto the couch and rub his temples like a tired old man. It wasn't about hiding money from your mother, he said finally. It was about protecting it, from someone else. A cold laugh escaped me. Right. Because stealing is protecting now. He looked up, and for the first time, I saw genuine fear in his eyes. You think this is just about money? Zara, if they find out you know. A sharp knock at the door cut him off. Drayton went pale. Don't answer that. 3 more knocks, harder this time. I moved toward the door. Zara, don't. Drayton lunged, but I was faster. The door swung open to reveal Mom. She stood there in her ratty old coat, eyes red-rimmed but blazing. In her hand, a manila envelope. I figured it out, she said, thrusting the envelope at Drayton. All of it. Drayton's hand shook as he pulled out the contents, legal documents, bank records, and a photo of a man I didn't recognize. Mom turned to me, tears spilling over. I'm so sorry, baby. This was never about us. It's about Mark, Drayton finished hoarsely. My business partner. The one who's been embezzling for years. The room tilted. The offshore account, Drayton continued, was the only money I could protect when everything went south. If Mark found it, he would have taken that too, Mom finished. She reached for my hand. Drayton didn't steal from me, honey. He was trying to save what he could, for you. Silence. I looked between them, my mother, who I'd thought was broken, and Drayton, who I'd thought was a monster. All this time, I'd been playing a revenge game. Turns out, I was the only one keeping score. The apartment door clicked shut behind my mother, sealing us in a silence so thick I could hear my own pulse. Drayton stood frozen, the damning photo of Mark still clutched in his hand. Moonlight through the windows cut across his face, making him look 10 years older. You've been lying to both of us, I whispered. Across from me, Mom flinched. Drayton's hands shook as he set down the envelope. Not lying. Just, not telling the whole truth. We sat around Drayton's kitchen island, the same polished marble as Mom's, while he poured 3 fingers of bourbon with unsteady hands. Mark's been skimming from the firm for years, he began. At first small amounts, client expenses here, vendor overcharges there. I watched Mom's face harden as he spoke. She knew this story. Just not her role in it. Then last year, Drayton continued, I found the offshore transfers. Nearly 5 million gone. My fingers tightened around my untouched glass. And you didn't report him? Drayton's laugh was bitter. To who? His uncle's the DA. His college roommate runs the financial crimes unit. Mom slammed her palm on the counter. So you hid money from me instead? No. Drayton met her gaze. I protected what was left. The 2 million offshore was yours, your half of everything. I couldn't let him take that too. The air left my lungs. All those nights I'd spent seducing Drayton, playing the perfect girlfriend. He'd been trying to save money for us? Mom made a wounded sound. You let me think you were the villain. Drayton's voice dropped. Better me than him. You don't know what Mark's capable of. The shrill sound made us all jump. Drayton checked the caller ID and went sheet white. It's him. Mark's name flashed on the screen with a 2:17 a.m. timestamp. My mother's hand found mine under the counter, her grip vice-tight. Drayton answered on speaker. Mark. It's late. Funny. The voice was all smooth edges. I could say the same about your little family reunion. Ice slid down my spine. Mark knew we were here. Drayton's knuckles went white around the phone. What do you want? Same thing I've always wanted. My money. A pause. But since you've brought the Collins women into this, let's make it interesting. Through the window, movement caught my eye, a shadow detaching itself from the building across the street. Someone was watching us. Mom reacted first. Back door. Now. We moved in frantic silence, Drayton grabbing files from his safe, Mom shoving papers into her purse, me sliding a knife from the block. The fire escape creaked under our weight as we climbed down into the alley. At street level, Drayton pressed keys into my palm. Take your mother to the garage. Silver Lexus. Go to. A gunshot cracked through the night. The side mirror exploded inches from my head. Mom screamed. Drayton shoved us behind a dumpster as another shot ricocheted off brick. Mark's not working alone, Drayton gasped, pressing a hand to his ribs. Dark bloomed across his shirt. He'd been hit. Footsteps approached from both ends of the alley. Mom ripped her scarf to press against Drayton's wound. We have to. Take Zara and run, Drayton gritted out. I'll hold them off. My vision blurred. This wasn't how revenge was supposed to end. Like hell. I grabbed his arm. We're all leaving. Drayton's smile was bloody. Still giving orders, huh? Then he did something that stopped my heart. He kissed my forehead like he had when I was 12 and scared of thunderstorms. Get your mother out of here. Before I could stop him, he lunged into the open, shouting taunts to draw fire. 2 more shots rang out. And Drayton Vale, the man I'd sworn to destroy, fell. Mom dragged me away as tires screeched at the alley's mouth. The last thing I saw before we sped off was Drayton's still form, and Mark stepping into the light, gun gleaming in his manicured hand. The night Drayton Vale took a bullet for us, I learned 2 terrible truths. 1. Revenge doesn't heal anything. 2. Some debts can never be repaid. I sat in a motel room that smelled of mildew and regret, watching blood dry under my fingernails, Drayton's blood. On the scratchy comforter beside me, Mom clutched the manila envelope like a lifeline, her breathing still ragged from our escape. Outside, sirens wailed through the rain. We can't stay here, Mom whispered for the 10th time. I stared at the news footage playing silently on the TV, a blurry photo of Drayton under the headline, prominent attorney shot in apparent robbery. The lie was almost as painful as the truth. Dawn found us at First National Bank, using Drayton's keys to access box 217. The manager eyed our disheveled appearance. You're listed as secondary contacts, but protocol requires. Mom slid a folded note across the counter, Drayton's handwriting, notarized weeks ago. Inside the metal box, a flash drive labeled for Odette, the stack of offshore account paperwork, and a plain envelope with my name. I opened mine first. Zara, if you're reading this, the worst has happened. The money is yours now. All $2.3 million. Use it to disappear. But before you go, finish what I started. D. We plugged the drive into a library computer, headphones muffling the damning audio. The transfers are clean, Mark's voice oozed through the speakers. Just keep the auditors busy until... Until what? Drayton's recording self-interrupted. Until you steal another $2 million? A chair scraped. Careful, partner. You're not the only one with leverage. Then the chilling part. I know about Odette's little prescription problem, and your daughter's college fund withdrawals. How long before the Bar Association hears about your family's creative accounting? Mom made a sound like she'd been punched. Tears tracked through her foundation as she confessed. It started after your father died, just pills to sleep, then pills to function. By the time Drayton found out. She swallowed hard. Mark was my supplier. The world tilted. All those times Mom had migraines, all the mysterious errands. And Drayton knew? He tried to get me help. Mom wiped her face. When I refused, he did the only thing he could, protected you from finding out. We buried an empty casket on a Thursday. Half the legal community turned out, respectful murmurs, black umbrellas, Mark playing grieving partner with Oscar-worthy tears. I watched from the back, nausea rising as he embraced Drayton's elderly mother. Then my phone buzzed. An unknown number. Look under your seat. Beneath the pew, taped in shadow, a burner phone. It rang as I touched it. Zara. The voice stole my breath. Drayton. He's alive, I mouthed to Mom, her eyes going wide. The voice continued, weak but unmistakable, don't react. Listen carefully. The money's a trap. Mark's expecting you to run. A cough. A pained breath. So we're going to give him exactly what he wants. Drayton's plan was insane. 1. Withdraw $500,000 in cash, enough to bait Mark. 2. Flee to the private airfield, where Drayton had backup. 3. Let Mark incriminate himself. What could go wrong? Everything. Rain sheeted down as our Uber approached the hangar. The duffel bag of cash weighed heavy in my lap. Remember, Mom whispered, as soon as we see police. Headlights blinded us. Mark stepped from a black Escalade, flanked by 2 men I recognized from the alley. No cops in sight. Ladies. He smiled like a shark. Going somewhere? I clutched the duffel tighter. We just want to leave. That makes two of us. He gestured to the waiting jet. But first, my money. Mom stepped forward. It's all there. Now let us. A gun cocked. Not quite. Mark's smile vanished. Where's the rest? The first police siren made everyone freeze. Mark snarled and reached for me, just as headlights erupted from the hangar. A car barreled toward us, horn blaring. The passenger door flew open. Get in. Drayton yelled, one arm bandaged, the other gripping the wheel. We moved on instinct, Mom yanking me toward the car as Mark shouted orders to his men. A gunshot. A searing pain in my arm. Then we were speeding away, Drayton's blood soaking through his fresh bandages as he drove one-handed. At the police station hours later, arm stitched, shock blanket around my shoulders, I watched on monitors as officers arrested Mark trying to board his plane with $500,000 in stolen cash. Drayton sat beside me, pale but alive. You okay? I stared at this broken man who'd sacrificed everything, his reputation, his safety, possibly his career, to protect us. The revenge I'd wanted felt childish now. No, I said honestly. But I will be. 1 year later. The courtroom erupted when the judge sentenced Mark to 15 years. Afterward, Mom hugged Drayton, really hugged him, for the first time since their divorce. As for me, I used part of the recovered money to finish college. Drayton visits every Sunday for dinner. We never talk about that night I spilled coffee on him at Lux. Some games are better left unfinished. Last month, I found Mom in the kitchen, not crying, but laughing as Drayton burned pancakes. No photos of the past. No hidden bank accounts. Just 3 people who'd survived each other. And maybe, finally, that was enough.